I am officially moving. We have, I think, 51 days until we close on our new house. That means I am doing a massive unhaul of books that I have read and don't want to keep, books that I haven't read and have no intention of wanting to keep them, or books that I have read and I don't care about anymore at all. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, big massive book unhaul. All of these books will be on my Pango Books account, so if you're not following me on there, you may have missed a couple of these because I plan on uploading them today and tomorrow, which will be Sunday and Monday. This video is going up Tuesday, so always make sure that you're following me. My link to my Pango Books account is down below, but also you can check out my other links to my socials, Patreon, Amazon wishlist, and are we in our fourth wing era right now again with Onyx Storm? This fourth wing shirt is from the Bookish box, and I do have a link down below where you get 10% off their entire website as long as you use my link below. So go get your fourth wing merch. Onyx Storm is wrecking me right now. I'm in the middle of reading it and what is happening? All right, you guys, I'm going to try to fly through this rather quickly. I don't want to make this an hour-long video, but I am going to start with the books that are currently already on my Pango Books account, and then we'll get into the massive stack that has yet to be uploaded. First up, we have House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I have the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I have like 20 copies of this book. I don't need 1,000 of them. We have Ballad and Dagger by Daniel Jose Older. This is still in the wrapping from Crate, so definitely go on over there if you want to pick this up. I think this was a couple years ago that this came out in their book box because it doesn't have sprayed edges or anything, but it does have an author letter. We have Paige and Wick's Sky of Fire by Madeline Carr. I think this is an epic fantasy. I have found out that I am not an epic fantasy girly, so beautiful edges, beautiful book, and you can go grab it on my Pango Books account. Next up, we have the Court of Honey and Ash series, which I know these are not in order, but we have A Crown of Petals and Ice, Court of Honey and Ash, and A Throne of Feather and Bones. These are all naked hardbacks from Bookish Box. I read this series, but I don't really need to keep it. We have this beautiful edition from Crate, and it is The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. This is beautiful, but I think I have another copy, so again, I don't need multiple copies. We have Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. This is the Bookish Box edition. Beautiful and everything. This is the Orion cover. I ended up keeping Fortune's cover, but I don't need two copies with just a different character on the hardback. We have If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun. This is the Fairy Loot edition. I did read this. It was okay, but nothing that I need to keep around for. We have the normal paperback version of To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I wish I would have never read this, but again, I'm not a siren / mermaid fantasy reader, so someone else will definitely enjoy this. We have Blood and Moonlight by Erin Beatty. This is a normal hardback. However, it does have a signed book plate because it came in the Abraxas box whenever Abraxas was part of the book box community. They went out of business a couple years ago, and I did read this. I enjoyed it. I just didn't feel like I needed to continue. We also have a normal edition of The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is a very floppy paperback, and it's one that I DNF'd because I found out, again, that I am not like a high epic fantasy reader that doesn't really have any romance in it. We also have Never by Jessa Hastings, another book that I DNF'd, but if you like Peter Pan retellings that are very authentic to the original Peter Pan story, then I think you may like this. I did not. We have The Queen's Assassin by Melissa Dela Cruz. It's just a normal paperback. However, it is signed because it did come from Beacon Book Box. You can get a signed copy of this. I've never read it, and it's been sitting on my shelf for so long. We have a normal paperback of The Infinite Moment of Us by Lauren Miracle. I wanted to read this, but I just have it sitting on my shelf and I'm never gravitating towards it. And now that I'm moving, it's time to clear out books that I no longer want. We have a little rom-com, Text Appeal by Amber Roberts. This is a cute cover, just nothing I gravitated towards. It says that it is STEM and steamy, and it deals with a coder as well. So if you like your STEM, steamy novels like Allie Hazelwood, maybe try this one out. We have a Fairy Loot paperback that I don't even know if they do these anymore, but every so often they would put an extra paperback in your subscription box. So this one was An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X.R. Pan. It does have sprayed edges, and I do think it is signed by the author. I've just never gravitated towards it, and I hate to see this book go without giving it a try, but alas, I have so many other books I want to read. I do have a normal hardback of The Dagger in the Flame by Catherine Doyle. I bought this whenever I went out to North Carolina back in August, and then found out that this was going to be in one of my book boxes, so I don't need a normal copy. We have The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. This was just a normal first print run with the black sprayed edges. However, it is signed by Leigh Bardugo, and I have no interest in reading this book, so I wanted to go to someone who would really love it. We have a normal paperback of Dreambound by Dan Frey. I wanted to read this. It's about a father who goes to like this mystical underworld where fairy tales are real to find his daughter, but I've just never gravitated towards contemporary fantasy, so I think it's time to just give it up. We have a normal hardback of You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau. I ended up getting the paperback that has the pink sprayed edges on it, so I don't need 2 copies. We have another normal paperback of Match Me If You Can by Tiana Smith. I think this is a YA contemporary romance, and I wanted to read it, but YA is not my thing anymore. I do still read YA, but it has to be done in a specific way. We have a duology. We have Havoc and Haven by Mary Lindsay. I read Haven, I believe, first, and then I ended up not picking up Havoc because having a hardback and a paperback is just driving me crazy, so I'm going to be getting new copies of these. We also have Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. I really enjoyed this mafia romance that's a standalone, but I just really don't care about continuing on with the series. And then the last one that is currently already on my Pango Books account is The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart. This is the Fairy Loot edition with the beautiful edges. I just have no interest in picking this up after reading what it's about, so I'm sure someone else out there would love to have this. Alright, so let's get into all the books that I do not currently have uploaded at the time of filming. There is a lot of special editions. There's a few normal editions spread in there. So I will always let you know if it's a special edition and who it comes from. Typically, 99% of the time, the special editions do have either a digital signature or an actual signature in the book. Sometimes it doesn't, but that's not very often. We have Illumicrate Afterlights, X's and O's by Amy Lee. This is a beautiful edition. I gave this book 5 stars. I loved it. I laughed. I had a good time. But I think it's time to get rid of it because I don't ever think that I'm going to reread it. And I'm definitely not continuing on with this standalone series. We have Hollow and Legend by Karina Halley. These are just normal paperbacks. I plan on trying to get the Lit Haven omnibus that they came out with. I think there was something wrong with the books that they got in, so now they're having to reprint them. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll have some leftovers or I'll just buy it off a reseller. We have Bookish Boxes, Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. It's a beautiful edition. I can't remember if I have the reverse dust jacket on or the normal. I think I have the reverse because the normal one was this, but it's beautiful and I just don't plan on continuing on with this series because it was a standalone. I was satisfied with the way that it ended. I just didn't really want to go on and read other characters that we have met in this book. We have the Stars and Shadows trilogy from Bookish Box by Holly Renee. We have A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows, A Kingdom of Blood and Betrayal, and A Kingdom of Venom and Vows. I don't know which one goes first or second. These are beautiful editions. I have the Midnight Whispers editions, and then I also just got the Omnibus from Holly Renee, so I don't need a third set. We also have Illuma Crates special editions of The Stolen Heir and The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. These have sprayed edges and everything. I don't like these versions. I am currently trying to find the first book, The Stolen Heir by Fairy Loot, because I like those editions more. We have a couple Fourth Wings that we're throwing in here because I had 5 million copies of them. So I'm getting rid of just the normal Fourth Wing paperback that came out in the UK. It doesn't have anything special to it, but that one will be up there. And then I'm also getting rid of the UK Waterstones edition of Fourth Wing that has these beautiful edges. I already have like 4 copies of this. I don't need another. We have a couple Carissa Broadbent books. I have the indie paperback of Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. I don't have the published version. That's the newest one. So this one is the indie. And then this one is the Bookish Box, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I already have the Arcane Society, I believe, first duology. And then I also have the Owl Crate versions. I don't need this one. I also have the first print of Immortal Dark by Tyjas Germa. It has the sprayed edges with the writing on there. I have the Fairy Loot and the Owl Crate version of this, so I don't need this copy, but this was a 5-star read for me last year. We have Probably Smuts, A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. This one also comes with, I think, page overlays. Yes, it does. There's a couple in here. I don't need this anymore because I have the Fairy Loot edition and I think it's prettier, but this is a naked hardcover, which is stunning in itself. I also have the new republished paperbacks of House of Beating Wings and House of Pounding Hearts by Olivia Wildenstein. These have these sprayed edges on them. I have the Page and Wick edition. I also have the Bookish Box editions. I don't need these. I don't need that many copies of this book. I also am getting rid of My Fault by Mercedes Ron. It's just a normal paperback. I ended up getting the Eternal Embers, My Fault and Your Fault, which you'll see later on in the unhaul. Those I'm also getting rid of. I also have Love and Other Conspiracies by Mallory Marlowe. This is just a normal paperback as well. My husband ended up buying me one and now I have 2 copies. So I need to get rid of this one. The next 2 come from Eternal Embers. They're paperbacks, and that is Wildest Dreams by Gianna Darling. This is the entire duet, I believe. And then also we have Beautiful Hearts by Emma Scott, which is the entire duet also. And these I got in the mystery paperback sale that they were having last year. And I thought I was going to read them, and I ended up not. They do have some damage to them from whenever they were being mailed to me, but nothing that prevents you from reading them. I know I just hauled this from my December book haul, but The Dead Guy Next Door by Lucy Score. I am getting rid of this one because I'm not interested. It came from Bookish Box, and I'm just gonna say goodbye to it. Also from Eternal Embers, we have Lovers and Voyeur by Fiona Cole. These are beautiful books, but just ones that I'm not gonna end up reading, and it comes with a slipcase. And then here is the My Fault and Your Fault by Mercedes Ron. I ended up deciding to just go ahead and get rid of them from Eternal Embers, but I know someone out there is going to really want these. I have a normal paperback of The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I ended up getting the Lit Joy that matches my Folk of the Air series that's annotated and beautiful, so I don't need a normal copy. I finally am getting rid of some of my Heavenly Bodies. They were starting to stack up a lot. So I am getting rid of Heavenly Bodies by the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. This is by Amani Iru. I have the Fairy Loot edition and the Waterstones deluxe edition, so I don't need this one. And then I'm also getting rid of the Waterstones exclusive edition that has beautiful edges because I did get the deluxe one that is signed. So there's this one. I am also so sad to see these two books go. I read them, I really enjoyed them, but they take up too much space and I want to give them to someone else that would love them. So we have Sword of Stars Book 1, Eternity is Not Forever by Raven McKnight. And then also we have Sword of Stars Book 2, Cursed Fates, also by Raven McKnight. These are signed. I think they are personalized to me. That just says Jennifer. Oh, it just says Jen. So definitely go and pick these up if you like epic fantasy, if you like a very well-crafted world. I highly suggest these. All right, so a couple just normal paperbacks. We have How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly. I just got the Bookish Box edition of this, so I don't need this one. This one's a Walmart exclusive with extra content. And then we have Starfall and Starflight by Melissa Landers. I wanted to read these. I had heard Carrie from Carrie Can Read really enjoy these books, and then they just sat and sat, so I'm gonna get rid of them. And then I'm also gonna be getting rid of The Traitor's Kiss by Erin Beatty. I just don't think that I'm gonna really want to read this, and it's not that I don't like Erin Beatty's writing, because I do. It just doesn't intrigue me. I'm also getting rid of Air by Saba Tahir. This is the Fairy Loot edition. It's beautiful, but I've never read the Ember and the Ashes quartet, and I don't plan on reading this before I read those, and I just don't want to read those books, so I'm just going to give this to a home that will be cherished. I am getting rid of the Owl Crate version of The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. I ended up keeping my Illumicrate edition. It doesn't have any sprayed edges, but it is a gorgeous cover. And I had to decide which one that I wanted to keep, so this one ended up being cut. I will also be getting rid of the Owl Crate version of Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. It has beautiful edges and it's stunning, but it's a book that I've read up on, seen some reviews, and it's just not kind of my cup of tea. I'm also getting rid of The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin. This is the signed Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. It does have a little bit of a tear back here. Nothing that's too pronounced, but I am getting rid of this because I got the paperback edition that has the sprayed edges. So I don't need this hardback. I'm also getting rid of the fabled version of House of Bane and Blood by Alexis Menard. It has the slipcase, and then it is a beautiful naked hardcover. But I also have, I think it's Bookish Box that did a version of this, so I ended up keeping that one. So I had to say goodbye. I am also getting rid of The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. Signed edition is just a normal hardcover, but I have Owl Crate and Fairy Loot. I don't even know how many editions, so I had to say goodbye to the normal copy. For all my non-fiction girlies out there, I am getting rid of Columbine by Dave Cullen. I did read this. It was a very tragic story. It is about Columbine high school shooting, but if you want a copy of this, it will be on Pango. I'm getting rid of Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, the Book of the Month one, because I loved this story and I do plan on continuing, but I don't want this massive hardback. I think I might pick up a paperback copy of it. I'm also getting rid of the US edition of The House at Watch Hill by Karen Marie Monning because I have the UK edition and also the Fairy Loot edition, so I don't need this normal copy, but this was a 5-star read as well. Gothic, ambiance, witches. Definitely go pick it up. Another book that I have 5,000 copies of is The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Penaranda. This is the just deluxe edition that was the first print, and I have so many other copies, so I don't need this one. I also have Hunt Me Darling by Marie Rose. This I read. I enjoyed it. I don't plan on reading it again. It's just a normal paperback, so if you want to pick it up, I mean, this is kind of a throuple, I guess, and it's where she works with the FBI and they're serial killers. So you like that kind of story? Definitely try this one out. I also have the normal paperback of My Dark Beast by Olivia Wildenstein. I have the Bookish Box edition, so I don't need this one. I highly suggest if you like Sleeping Beauty, Hades and Persephone, mash them up. This is amazing. I'm also getting rid of Spare by Prince Harry because I do not need to keep this copy. I listen to it on Audible. I own it on Audible, so I don't really need to keep this copy of it. I'm also getting rid of these special editions of the Court of Secrets trilogy by Rebecca L. Garcia. These were the first special editions that she had done, and what makes them special is she has these beautiful naked hardcovers, and they are signed by her, but I don't need them. So you have the Court of Secrets, the Princess of Nothing, and you also have the Fate of Crowns. And I think that's what it's called, the Fate of Crowns trilogy. But these are beautiful. I loved them. They're YA fantasy romance and definitely worth the read. I'm also getting rid of my extra copy of My Dark Beast by Olivia Wildenstein from Bookish Box, because whenever I picked this up from a reseller, had no idea that this was the Bookish Box. But it comes with this beautiful slip case where it has her and him, and then the cover is a naked hardcover. And so like I said, if you like Hades and Persephone and Sleeping Beauty and mash them up, definitely try this one out. I'm getting rid of Probably Smuts The Wastelander by E.S. Luck. This is like a dystopian romance, and what it does come with is the annotation key and the kit already in it, and it is signed by the author. I'm also getting rid of the 4 books by L.J. Shin that came from Eternal Embers, and I'm going to sell them as a set, but they have the beautiful edges. You have Vicious, Scandalous, Ruckus, and Bane. So I'm going to be getting rid of these. I thought that I would read them, but I don't plan on it, and I'm sad to see them go because they are stunning. I did cancel my Dark and Quirky box, but I had already gotten one of them, and this one is Contractually Yours by Nadia Lee. This is beautiful. It comes with a print, and then it also comes with a signed page overlay. So if you want to pick that up, definitely do that. The other ones that were in that box that I will be getting rid of is Antidote by Shea Ruby. It also has the signed page overlay in it. I'm getting rid of Maestro by Auden Dar. Again, it has that signed page overlay in there. I think the 4th one had already sold, so those 3 are what I have left. And then I also have the Page and Wick edition of A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. It's beautiful as well. It's like a really small hardback, but I don't really think that I'll like this story, so again, it's going to go to a home that might love it. I have the Fairy Loot edition of The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. I know that there's a lot of people out there that love cozy fantasy, and this is nothing but cozy fantasy. I didn't even know there was a cat in the tree until just now. But this won't be something that I would enjoy, but I know a lot of people have been loving this book. In that same vein, I'm also getting rid of the Owl Crate edition of The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. This is still in the paper, or the plastic. I don't need 2 copies of a book that I don't think I'm gonna like. I am getting rid of Green Light by Jessie Hall. This is the Probably Smut edition. Again, it does come with the annotation kit and key, and is signed by Jessie Hall. I heard this is a very dark romance, so make sure you check trigger warnings before you buy it or read it. I'm also getting rid of my Moonlight book box of A Hunt So Wild and Cruel by Rebecca F. Kinney. I think this might be a reverse harem with creatures, monsters, and it is a beautiful edition, but not something that I'm going to enjoy. I'm also getting rid of Fairy Loot's edition of For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga. I read this as an ARC, and I didn't personally enjoy it because it was YA, but I know a lot of people have been enjoying this, so definitely try it out. I'm also getting rid of the Darkly box by Bookish Box, The Graham Effect by L. Kennedy. This is a beautiful edition of the spinoff from the Off-Campus series. It's beautiful and it would match that set, but you can still pick it up regardless if you like L. Kennedy and hockey romances. So I also went through all of my Lauren Roberts books to get rid of some of the extra copies that I have. And boy, do I have a haul for you on that. I already have 2 copies that one of my Patreon members has already decided that she wanted. So these are the ones that are left over. So we have Reckless, which is the Books A Million version, which has the pink flowers on it. We also have the Waterstones paperback of Powerful with the purple sprayed edges. We have the Barnes & Noble edition of Powerful, which I think she might end up wanting, so I'm going to keep this to the side. And then we have the Waterstones paperback of Reckless with the red sprayed edges. We have a signed copy of Powerless. It's just a normal cover, but it is signed. And then the last one that I have is the Waterstones paperback of the purple sprayed edges of Powerless. So all of those are going to be on my Pango Books account, minus the Books A Million one, because I think since she got the Books A Million Powerless and Reckless, or the Barnes & Noble Powerless and Reckless, I think she'll want this one. I'm also getting rid of The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. I read this, didn't quite enjoy it. It's way too slow for me, but someone else may enjoy this if they like slow moving epic fantasies. I also have a normal edition of Onyx Storm that will be on there. I don't even know where this came from. It just came in the mail at one point. So I don't know if this was from Amazon whenever it tragically everyone's orders were being canceled and all of that. But if you want a normal copy, you can go get one. I'm also getting rid of The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. This is the Fairy Loot edition. It's beautiful, but I ended up DNFing this book. It is just not my type of story. I am getting rid of an extra copy of A Kiss of Iron by Claire Sager. This is the Bookish Box edition. I just don't vibe with this type of colorway for the story, so I ended up keeping my Midnight Whispers one. So this one will be on there. And then the last set of books that I have is a trilogy that I had just recently got, and that is the David Bad trilogy from Bookish Box, and I am so sad that I won't have these. They have beautiful edges, and you have the City of Brass, the Kingdom of Copper, and then the Empire of Gold. These are some chunky books, but I ended up DNFing City of Brass, so I'm getting rid of the entire trilogy. All right, everyone, those are all of the books that I am unhauling. There might be more as we get closer to moving into our new home. Definitely go check out my Pango Books account and try to help me get rid of so many of these books. I have them on there for pretty cheap. I'm not trying to price gouge anybody. Go check those out and leave me a comment below on what you thought of this book unhaul. If there's any books in here that maybe I should reconsider on keeping. And if you don't want to leave me a comment, but you want to let me know that you were here, leave me the home emoji down below for us getting our brand new home, and I will see you all next time. Bye!